Good morning, everybody. We're back at probably my favorite location to photograph waterfalls. We're at the Old Stone Fort. Today we're looking for some fall color. So we've had a bit of an unfortunate beginning of the fall this year. We had about an 8-week drought where there was no rain, and then we had temperatures that were upwards of the 90s to the low 100s. So what happened was, instead of the colors gradually changing, a lot of the colors just turned to straight brown. And with all the wind, the leaves have been knocked down and they weren't really photogenic to begin with. But there's still some color, and that's what we're looking for today. So I'll show you the scene that I have found. Alright, so what we have is this beautiful cascade of waterfalls, and you can see there is up in this area, and get the focus back. As you see back in the back, there are some fall colors. So the last time we were here, or the last time I came, we photographed waterfalls on the other side of the park. And this cascade's kind of, I always make the mistake of going, or I usually make the mistake of going to the other side first, and by the time I get over to this side, the best of the light has left. And so I thought that it would be a good idea, because the sun is rising, because the sun is going to be rising from over here. It looks really bright now, but it's actually quite dark out here. Because the sun's rising from that area, I'm going to shoot over here first. I have my 24 to 105 millimeter lens on. I am shooting at 105 millimeters because I'm trying to compress the scene. It looks like there are 3 cascades, and if I photograph this with a wider angle lens, they look further away than they are, than they appear to me right now. And so with a higher millimeter, I'm compressing the scene, and I think it gives a better representation of what it looks like while I'm sitting here in front of it. So I'm shooting at 105 millimeters. I'm shooting at f11 because there is some depth to the scene, and with the fog it's going to introduce softness and this ethereal look, which I really like. But I think that if I shoot at a bit of a higher f-stop, or if at a larger f-stop, then what I get is I kind of offset some of that softening that I think might be a little too much for the scene. Besides, I want to have the ability to introduce that myself. What I'm trying to do is take multiple exposures at different levels of light. That way, if I like certain areas better than others, with the lower light or the brighter light, I can blend them together. But what I like to do is when I take an image or make an image, I like to push that histogram as far to the right as I can without clipping any of the highlights, because what that allows me to do is to darken down areas and to really, kind of play with it a little bit in Photoshop without adding a lot of noise. Because when I take a photograph that the histogram is more to the left and I try to brighten areas, it introduces a lot of noise, a lot of grain, and I really don't like the way that looks. And so if I can push the histogram further to the right and then work the light down in Photoshop or Lightroom, I think that I get a better image that way. I'm really happy with that image, and with the light getting brighter and brighter, I'm gonna start looking around to see if I can find maybe one more composition. We're forecasted to have completely clear skies today, so the light will get harsh really fast, unfortunately. But maybe we can find some other beautiful woodland photographs that doesn't include the sky. So let's go look. All right, so I found another composition that I really like, but I had to get the 100 to 400 millimeter lens in order to make the image. So I had to switch out the L bracket from the camera body to the lens, since the lens is so heavy. Okay, so I'm shooting at 400 millimeters, ISO 100, f11. I am focusing on the base of these two trees. I'm not sure if you can see it here, but yeah, you can. Okay, so these trees here, I'm focusing on the base of those, getting some of the cascade in the foreground into the frame as a foreground interest, and some of the cascades there in the back as the background interest. A little bit of mist on those trees. It looks kind of cool. So ISO 100, remote timer, 1.5 seconds, 400 millimeter. It's really pretty. Let me know what you think. So the exit to the enclosure, this is one of the pedestals, and this is the other. And one of the coolest things about this enclosure is the summer solstice sun rises right in the middle of these two pedestals, or the entrance to the fort. I think that's really neat to think about, having our own Stonehenge type structure here in Middle Tennessee. It's not quite as intricate as Stonehenge, but still really cool all the same. They found Paleolithic era artifacts inside of this fort, or inside of the enclosure, and that means that people were here on this spot maybe 40,000 years or more ago. It's really beautiful, but now that I'm here and the light's changing pretty fast, I don't want to rush and just try to hurry up and find a composition. So I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is take my time, see if I can find something that I like. But let me take a look around. Let me see what I can get, and I'll bring you back. I found another composition that I like a lot, and it is kind of shooting up this riverbank with all the fog and the trees leaning over the water. I think it's really pretty. And it still isn't being illuminated by that harsh light, so I'm shooting at 105 millimeters, ISO 100, 105 millimeters, ISO 100, I put the polarizer on, but I turned the polarization off because when I polarize, I lose a lot of the fog, and I really like it. Found another composition that I like. I think is going to work really well. And the issue is the sun is actually coming up real fast in that area, and I need to get this camera out and set up and get this image before I lose the light. But I will tell you this for sure, is I'm going to shoot it at f11, ISO 100, probably 105 mil with the polarizer on. Man, it's really beautiful. The mist is coming off of the base of the waterfall. There's a rainbow looking rock right on the other side of that mist. The light is really soft. Let's see if we can get it. I'm going to move around a little bit, try to fine-tune this composition. Yeah, I'm really excited about this one. Let me know what you think. Oh, these rocks are really slippery. Okay, so I'm back at the truck. That was a lot of fun. I think I got some pretty good images. I appreciate you all watching, and we'll see you next time.